What is up, sexy people? It is Dave, it's Duncan, it's Kyle, back from Metal Epidemic for another album review. And for this review, Duncan, Kyle and I have been checking out the new album from Danish death metal killing machine, WAYWARD DAWN. The band's new album, All Consuming Void, will be released on September 9th.
Weighing in at 336 pounds. From Denmark, pure killing machine, WAYWARD DAWN.
Yes.
You did set them up as if they were like a pro wrestler, and I kind of love it.
Yep.
I can't wait to see them win the belt at WrestleMania.
New album out on September 9th via Emanzipation Productions. This is album number 3 from WAYWARD DAWN, which followed their 2020 release, Haven of Lies. The album, like its predecessors, was recorded and produced by Jakob Bredal at Dead Rat Studio.
Big tall glass of shag.
Mastered by Brad Boatwright at Audio Siege.
Oh, surprise. It's the bread that I want to be the filling in that sandwich.
Yes, this is our second album we've spoken about this evening.
Still laughing at me, Kyle. It's a serious shit. WAYWARD DAWN.
WAYWARD DAWN, Kyle.
Serious.
Your serious face on. The lyrical theme throughout the album centres around the human mind and the various states of mind such as anxiety, loneliness and addiction. States that everyone knows and experiences to some extent, which easily can become an all-consuming void to the individual person. So, WAYWARD DAWN was one of those bands that I had heard of but never actually listened to. I don't know if you guys had ever heard of them before. It wasn't until Jakob started posting about them on his Facebook. I was like, oh, what is this WAYWARD DAWN you speak of? With little audio clips of him recording the band. I was like, oh, could be in. So yeah, never heard of them before. And this is, like, for the most part, this is filthy, groovy death metal. Which, you know, what's not to love here. I'm going to let someone else start off because I've talked for a while in other 2 reviews, so we'll let one of you 2 guys go first. Kyle, let's come to you first. What did you think of All Consuming Void by WAYWARD DAWN?
It's alright, yeah, cheers.
Cool. Duncan.
No, man, this is I mean, I'd heard of them before, and I just thought they were just another standard death metal band out of 100 death metal bands that you could hear and never pick out of a lineup. But no, I was fucking wrong, wasn't I? Yeah. Jesus Christ, this is so goddamn groovy, it's illegal. It is... Like, death metal's had this thing for a few years of being, like, stuck to the grid and blah, and fucked with it all ways but one, but this one is not it. It is absolutely... It's so full of natural, raw groove, and it just slayed me from the ass out. It really did. And what I can say is that drummer loves his ride cymbal.
I'm going to get on the ride. Don't you worry.
I can't wait for your explanation or your take on it.
Ride for days.
Fucking loved it. I was sat there like this going, yeah, man, that's awesome. The whole way through.
In my head, I pictured that he accidentally packed 3 rides instead of the other symbols. He's like, oh, fuck. When life gives you ride.
Yeah.
Right?
Something about lemonade, but ride.
Right. Yeah. This album is a ride.
Oh, that could replace Journey. Yeah, it's a ride from now on.
Yeah.
Wait, it's a new one.
It's a strange album, this one, because there's not really anything super genre bending or pushing any envelopes in any way, but it's just fucking great from top to bottom.
I said to Dave before we started recording and before you joined the call, there's a part of me that really likes the idea of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's a part that just makes me want to, like, hug people that, like, get what it's supposed to be and don't try and...
Yeah. This takes me back to the early days of death metal, like with Morbid Angel and all that stuff. It's just absolutely fucking bang on what I think death metal should be. No fuckery, just... 4, I don't know how many people are in this band, but it sounds like 100 of them. 100 guys in a room. All of them guitarists, except for the right guy. They've got a drummer which plays the actual drums and one guy on ride. That's it. And it's just the songs the riffs are just fucking, they break your face open in the best way possible. And I don't know how to explain it. I'm really kind of lost for words, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I played it about 8 times. And it was just like, I'm buying their album. I'm buying their t-shirt. It's from Denmark, so it'll probably cost about an arm and a leg as it comes over the fucking border, but it'll be worth it. So,
Day trip, Kyle. Day trip. You leave early, you can get down there and back.
It will be cheaper. I could meet the band, buy them all a beer, come back to Norway, and it'll still be cheaper than the import fees. But yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot to say about this one. Most of it is the production is absolutely 10,000 out of 10 and a banana. And considering it's Red Owl and Boatwright, it's like the double B of perfection, isn't it? Just you put those two together and an album just sounds fucking exactly how it should.
Boatwright, banana. That's all you need. The 3 Bs.
The 3 Bs. Red Owl, Boatwright, banana. I like it. It's just, I couldn't get over it. Every time I listen to it, the guitar tones are fucking almost HM2 chainsaw ripping your face off, almost, but there's some actual depth to them, which is what you miss with the HM2. So I don't know if they've like blended some tones or anything like that. I don't know what they've done, but it's both at the same time ripping and fucking deep, and I just loved it. I keep listening to it again. How did you do that? Like, what is going on with that guitar tone? It is nuts. It's absolutely fucking nuts. It's like Bloodbath's first album, except better in every way. And I'm like, couldn't get over it. I'm very excited about this album. I'm very excited about this band. Don't know if you can tell, but I quite I liked it. It's all right.
Nice. Duncan, what do you think?
Oh yeah. Not my genre at all, but this made me so fucking happy. Like we were literally talking about, as soon as we started the call up, I was like, let's just have a little second here to appreciate that the first track, Disorientating Verminosity, great name, it's like essentially an intro track, right? But it's a death metal intro track, which doesn't have samples and all that weird shit. And it builds and builds and builds and builds, and then it just goes there, like that. And then the next track, and I was saying to Dave, like as soon as that kicked in, I was like that. Oh, like please just tell me groove and head swirling with the hair twirling. And that kicked in, and I was doing it at my desk. I was just like, like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a part of me that this album is wholly predictable, but in the best possible way. It's like it gives you what you want. Like, how many times have you listened to an album and you're like, oh, just do it, like, just give me, it'd be so cool if you did this.
Come on.
And then they do the other thing, and you're like, well, that's alright. I wouldn't have done that, but that's fine. This album did turns out this band did everything you wanted it to do. Like, every single step of the way. It's just got like, and then it's the fact that it is so unpolished. There are moments where, like, when they're doing like a slide, like bit up to doing their, you know, look at the fucking thing that I don't know what you call that. Like when they're doing that, and one guitar hits
sudden
that
flute solo,
yeah, it's like one jazz flautist, like one guitar hits the note before the other guitarist quite gets up there, and they just kept it in, and I'm like, fucking amazing, yes, Jakob, that's how you do it. It's just, it has that, like,
there's bits during the palm muting where they go out of sync with each other. I just love it. It's so perfect.
It doesn't need to be, and it really actually, if anything, it benefits the album that it doesn't. This guy's got the Cookie Monster vocal like nailed, and I fucking love it. Like the Cookie Monster, who has been sent to like some expensive rehab to come off cookies, and he's in day 3 of that cookie, you know, regression, and like he's sweating buckets, puking in toilets, and just not a happy guy. And what he sounds like, it's just. And it, like, once again, there's a level of almost cliche about it, but I kind of love it for what it delivers. Like when we talked last year about bands like, what was it, 200 Stab Winds or Sanguisugabog,
that came to mind immediately.
Yeah, like there seems to be, this is the backlash. We talked about it before. When you push a genre to the point of it becomes almost too immaculate and sanitized, there is a instant kickback where bands go the other way as much as possible, and Wayward Dawn appear to be on that edge. Now obviously they've got a few albums out, so it's not as if they're starting off to get that sound. This is their sound. But this is the polar, this is the you know, this is the balancing weight on the other side of the scales of what you get on the pristine kind of technical end of death metal. You get this stuff which is just all raw as shit and just determined to hit you with these amazing grooves, and then the drumming. I'm not gonna lump the drumming. And yeah, we can talk about the ride cymbal. Dave's gonna talk about the ride cymbal.
Can't wait.
That's Big Davey loves a ride, right? Which is a T-shirt that I own and a videotape that we one shot, right? And no one's ever gonna see it, and it's hidden behind the paywall. But you know what I mean? It really, he loves it. But then once again, that just reminds me of that stuff from the 90s where the drummer would just when drummers had 4 cymbals. You know what I mean? They didn't have things with holes in them or whatever things are now, where things are upside down and indented. They only make a certain noise if they're set on
4
fire.
4 inches thick, and they go.
Back to when you had just a limited kit, you had the ride cymbal and you played it. And this is what this guy, the guy goes down. And you know what is like? That's the indicator they've got a great groove.
Yeah,
it's the universal sound of I need to headbang till my head comes off. And he uses it loads in this one, and guess what? I wanted to headbang a lot till my head came off. It's one of those albums that you just smile to. Although even if the guy's singing about the end of the fucking world and the music is daring you to like just be like so nihilistically pensive towards even looking someone in the eyes, like you still want to headbang and smile while listening to it. It's an incredible feat. I genuinely love it. And then the fucking balls on these guys to be giving you like nice, short, snappy, catchy things, and then at the end they're like 12.5-minute track, lads. All right then, and it's fucking great. Pull on the Boulder is fucking great. At no point in the kind of the plethora of moments which feel like they could be individual songs did I actually feel that they could be individual songs. It flows really, really, really well, and it is a great way to finish the album because it's the last thing I ever fucking expected. This is the Moorish album. You know what I mean? In this genre, this is the one that when it finishes, you just kind of like, I don't fucking want to just listen to something that makes me want to headbang, fuck hard, and burn buildings. Like Wayward Dawn is that album. You know what I mean? This is fucking great. And yes, Jakob has nailed the sound. Why are we not surprised? It sounds like it was recorded pretty much live. Why are we not surprised? It probably was. And then he handed it off to Brad, and Brad did the right thing, which is just make it sound even fucking better. Just accentuate, just polish, just a fine veneer on top of what Jakob's captured. And what you have here is something that almost challenges you not to listen to it again. Like when that last track finishes, it's almost daring you not to hit play. It's like, you gotta press the button. You know you want to. And I'm like, maybe I just want to listen to, I've got 3 albums to review this week, and it's like, but you could just press the button again. Like, oh, get away. And it's like, press the button. And I pressed it. And guess what? Instantly happy again. Like this is, if you're a fan of old school death metal, if you're a fan of grooves, if you're just a fan of fucking ass kicking, throat tearing, like fucking anal raping, like balls to the wall, like groove leading death metal, then Wayward Dawn, All Consuming Void is the album. Is so fucking good. And it's not even a genre that I don't crave albums like this. But I've like with last year, every now and again I hear it and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. This is how I, on the death metal scale, these albums will always score higher than the ones that everyone else appears to like. Don't know why. Yeah. It's maybe because I'm a Cash fan.
Cash.
Dave, what did you think?
Well, before I listened to this, I listened to the previous album, Haven of Lies, which I hadn't heard before. And just like from that album as well, I got this like just this warmth over me, just like see these bands that just like fuck your click tracks and all that bullshit. Like everything is just done organically. And Wayward Dawn have continued with that method on All Consuming Void. I personally think, listening to the previous album, I think they have shown another level to their songwriting and their delivery on this one. This time it feels like they've kind of pushed and pulled the extremities of the tempos on the album. So those slow grooves that they had on Haven of Lies, they're now even slower on this album.
Yes.
They just sound even filthier. Like Kyle said, very Morbid Angel in places, which is never a bad thing. And I think that small adjustment of just bringing the pace down a touch and letting those groove really like sink their teeth in, has much more impact on the listener especially. And that goes for the tempos at the other end of the spectrum as well. When they kick into something a bit more kind of ferocious and kind of grinding, they really push the intensity on it. There's a section on Bottomless Pit where they kick into this kind of stretch of blasts and like tremolo picked, like almost kind of blackened guitars, but it's got this like utterly guttural vocal up under it. It reminded me of a kind of like Malignant altar type feel, and it's like disgustingly intense. It's just like so fucking good. But they do something really clever at the end of that section by bringing in this kind of like almost kind of repeating kind of lead part, which works perfectly as a kind of like a transition into the next part of the song. And I think that's another thing they've really improved on this release. Those transitions, they feel really natural and well thought out. Because the tracks they don't generally stay the same. They are constantly moving in and out of different tempos, changing up rhythmically. So those changes from kind of section to section need to be smooth and feel natural, and they absolutely nailed it on this one. The choices of transitions were great, especially on that closing track, Pull of the Boulder. Some really kind of clever ideas, whether it was just bringing the pace down with some almost kind of like doomier type riffs, or using a kind of clean guitar section, or even there's a little kind of short kind of solo kind of bass kind of section there as well, which was a little bit like almost a little bit kind of Cannibal Corpse as well, but really well done. I'm a mark for this type of stuff. Like I love groovy death metal. It's one of my favorite things in life in general. But if there's one thing you can add to groovy death metal to make me even happier, it's Ride Symbol, gents. It is Ride Symbol, and by God, does this album have tons of ride. You could ride this album like Seabiscuit, gentlemen. And it just works. It's just that bell tone, like the bell is just so in your face, so prominent, and it just adds to the groove. But like not only the drum sound, I love the snare sound. Actually, before we jump off the drums, that fucking snare is awesome, man. There's nothing worse than listening to death metal with a really flat snare.
Yeah.
But this is anything but flat. It's got tone, it's got depth, and it just cuts through perfectly. Jakob, as I said,
rings like a motherfucker.
It does. It really does. Great job on the recording of the kit. It's really punchy, very old school. It's not all nice and kind of clean. It's got a kind of dirtiness to it, which I loved. And the same goes for the rest of the production. Like the dream team of Jakob and Brad have just they made sure it sounds authentic and it's designed specifically for this band rather than just some generic fucking production they've thrown over the top of it. It does what it says in the tin. It's not revolutionising the genre or anything like that, but it's done really well. And I think they've upped their game from the last album, which makes it a very easy and enjoyable album to listen to if you're a death metal fan. What's not to love here? What's not to love? So, Wayward Dawn, All Consuming Void. What we're thinking rating wise for this album? Kyle, what are you thinking?
This album is like, it's one of those ones that's more than the sum of its parts, if you know what I mean. It's like, what have you got? It's sort of old school groovy death metal. Like, okay, great, but it's like, it's just so enjoyable. I can't really put my finger on why. It's just fucking incredibly done, and I love it. So it's easy 4 out of 5 for me.
Nice. Duncan?
I'm coming in right behind them. 4 out of 5. I like this. Once again, the cliches are going to come fast and hard for me, but I am going to listen to this one to death. I'm going to listen to it to death metal. Kill me now. It's so much fun. So much fun.
I will join you, gentlemen, on a 4 out of 5 from myself. Thoroughly enjoyable. Wayward Dawn, All Consuming Void is out on September 9th. On Emancipation Productions. I will put some links below to their Facebook, to their Bandcamp. Check these guys out. Check out the singles. Check out the album. Let us know what you think. Stick some comments in below. That is the review. Thank you for checking it out. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Go away. Goodbye.